Before we touch in on the season preview, I would like to wish the Florida Panthers a happy 30th anniversary, as in their time, in their 30 years, they have made playoff roughly about 6 or 7 times. I'm willing to say it's about 6 times. So, which includes 3 division championships. That's in 2012, 2015, and 2022. And then some of the wild card bursts like that happened in 1997 and this past year. So maybe about 5 or 6 times actually. By the way, we had that rough stretch in the decade of Dale Talon. They made the playoffs about twice, and then going up to that last year where they technically did make the playoff in the 2020 with that bubble. So that is 6 times there. So technically, and then it also includes 2 conference championships in 1996 and 2023, but no Stanley Cups just yet. So they have an okay playoff record, but we would like to make it better, as I'm going to talk about the Florida Panthers right now. Welcome everybody to the Florida Panthers season preview. That's right. So we are going to get right on to the point here. We are here to do a preview of the Florida Panthers. And before we talk about the Florida Panthers, I first need to explain what has happened in the off season. So in the off season, when we didn't win the championship, we made some moves, some minor moves, but we will talk about that. So back in June, we signed forward Evan Rodriguez on a 4-year one-way contract. And it signs Alexander True and Jerry Mayhew to a 1-year deal, 2-way contracts. So that what a 2-way contract basically means is they can play in the AHL or in the NHL. Same thing with NBA, with the G League and professional. And they also signed William Lockwood on a 2-year two-way deal. So they were busy on June 27th. June 30th, they signed Rasmus Asplund on a 1-year 2-way contract. Then in July, they have agreed to terms with Casey Fitzgerald, the defense guy, on a 1-year 2-way contract. Then in July 13th, they have agreed to terms with defense John Ludwig on a 2-year 2-way contract, and Casey Fitzgerald on a 1-year 2-way contract, which is said that they repeated. But this is a big one that I can say. On July 20th, they have re-signed Lo Serenen on a 3-year contract extension. Big re-sign right there, as we just lost a few other players in this off season. Then in September, they made some moves. They have released Evan Cormier from the professional tryout contract, and this is just preseason stuff now. So we didn't get much in because of the with the minor off season, with the amount of money we put into Matthew Tkachuk and everything. Huberdeau's contract is over. He's going to be off with Calgary. Although I feel bad. This is off topic. I feel bad for Huberdeau. He's mentally he has lost some courage and passion of hockey. I think that trade got to him. But either way, in this offseason, we did lose Radko Gudas. We did lose Anthony Duclair via the trade to San Jose Sharks. That was pretty that was a little bit tough to watch him go. And then we lost. I don't know if we lost who did we lose? Mark Stahl is gone. Was it Mark Stahl? I think it was Mark Stahl. The brother of Eric Stahl. I think Eric Stahl's still around. I'm not quite sure, but I know Mark Stahl is gone. He wasn't a right fit for the Florida Panthers. So that's pretty much it with the off-season transactions and stuff like that. And then recently they have loaned Spencer Knight to Charlotte, which is a good idea to get some hockey experience back. And they had a pretty impressive preseason. I don't cover preseasons that often, but he made some pretty good work. And I will say this: I'm so happy for Spencer Knight. He's doing a lot better mentally, and got himself into the list of mental health program with the NHL. It's sad. You gotta. Yeah, I'm glad Spencer Knight's doing a lot better, and he's able to play with the Florida Panthers soon in the season. We did lose Alex Lyon as well, speaking of goaltenders. But Spencer Knight, I know he's going to come back. He's going to come back much stronger than ever. And we still got Sergei Bobrovsky, Matthew Tkachuk still around. Of course, Barkov, he's all locked in. We got Nick Cousins still in. We still got Sam Bennett. We still got Reinhart. We still got Brandon Montour. Zach Dalp is going to be promoted soon. And we got Lo Serena back. So those are the big guys. And Fitzgerald, pretty good signing too. Casey Fitzgerald as well. And then Lucas Carlson's still around. So that's really good. Carlson is going to be the big guy coming up for the NHL when he comes back out to play with the Florida Panthers again. And he was remember that stick save he made against Carolina Hurricanes last year? That same guy. Watch out for him as he comes back. Okay, so for the final roster, which is set out from the opening day, we have a full roster. So before we talk about the main rosters, we have to talk about a little bit of the non-roster, which is the injured list. First being Aaron Ekblad, who is on injured list for now, and Brandon Montour, who we just discussed in that preview. But in terms of the opening day roster, we got Sam Bennett, who starts off, and Sam Reinhart, Anton Lundell, and Alexander Barkov, who's going to come in as captain, who's going to start off right away. There's no discussion there. Evan Rodriguez is going to play. Steven Lorenz, who's a new forward we have. Matthew Tkachuk, no need to talk much about him. Nick Cousins, who made that overtime game-winning, series-clinching goal against Toronto Maple Leafs. Carter Verhaeghe, who's another free agent who's going to come up after this season, like Montour. He needs to be resigned. Mackie Semmelskratich, who has made his mark. Lou Serena re-signs. Kevin Stenlund and Ryan Lomberg, who are the forwards. Number of defensemen, Mike Riley, Dmitry Kikolov, who has signed two-way deal. Uves Balinskis, who I can't pronounce the name right. Josh Mahura, who has made the preseason roster again. Gustav Forsling, Nico Mikola, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. And for the goaltenders, Anthony Stolarz, who has promoted, I believe, from the AHL and made the roster from the preseason. And, of course, Bobrovsky. So that is the roster, and let's see where it goes from there. But anyway, that's the off season. We could talk about the regular season real quick. I'm probably not gonna make any predictions because this video would just take too long. And I'm going to predict we're gonna have a better regular season than we did last season. So Florida Panthers are looking to get back in the playoffs, at least. They're looking to get back in the playoffs. More importantly, they're going to try to make it back to the Stanley Cup, but it's just so hard to do so, to make it back-to-back years, unless you're going through like a dynasty like Lightning did. But you just never know. But either way, Florida Panthers are looking to get back into the playoffs, and we can have big conversations. Their first game starts on Thursday, and it says 5 o'clock for me. Well, it's actually 8 o'clock Eastern time and 7 o'clock Central time, because their first regular season game is against the Minnesota Wild in Minneapolis, and that's our first game. We're already a big matchup with Minnesota. So for me, it's 5 o'clock because I'm still in California for another week. Then we go up. We go to Winnipeg against the Jets. That's also a huge match to watch. And that game starts at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, and 3 o'clock Central. And then the first road trip ends in Newark, where they play the Devils, and it starts at 7 o'clock. And if you're asking me, am I going to attend this game? No, I'm still in California, but that will be the last day of the trip. And then we start the homestand against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are looking for revenge and trying to also get back in the playoffs, as well as the New Jersey Devils and the Minnesota Wild and the Winnipeg Jets. All teams that we're playing so far, the first 4 games are playoff teams. So this is a big stretch to get something going. And then we play against the Vancouver Canucks and then San Jose Sharks after that. Seattle Kraken, who for some reason we just don't have luck against. Then a big matchup against Boston Bruins, and that's the month of October. 15 games in the month of November. We got Detroit in Detroit. I think that's a pretty winnable game. And then the Blackhawks, we got to do better against Blackhawks now that they got Connor Bedard as they're going to get better soon during the rebuild. Columbus Blue Jackets, Washington Capitals, Carolina Hurricanes were looking for revenge. Chicago Blackhawks again. Then on ESPN plus Hockey Nights is the San Jose Sharks. Then it's against the Los Angeles Kings and Anaheim Ducks in the span of 2 days. So they're going to be in California for a few days. So it starts on north and then go down south. Then after that, it's a big match against Edmonton Oilers. So we need to figure out Connor McDavid, and then bam. Then another big matchup, and it's going to be on national television. Boston Bruins TNT starts at 7. Be a lookout. I'm going to watch it for sure. Then we play against a big time match against Winnipeg Jets. We should have won last season against them, but that is what it is. Then big match against Ottawa Senators. We had that big rivalry against them, and we don't just call it the rivalry. We also call it the Kachuk rivalry. So let's see what happens in that game. Then we go to Toronto against the Maple Leafs. Then we go back east towards Montreal. That's the month of November. Now, December, we start off. Actually, it's a little bit glitched out. Hold on a second. There we go. Then we go back home against the Islanders. So that'll be a game here. Then on national television, it's the Florida Panthers against the Dallas Stars. On national television, TNT. Watch out for that. Then against the Pittsburgh Penguins, I have a feeling that game's going to flex for that. They should. That should be a good matchup. Then against the Columbus Blue Jackets, that's a 1 o'clock game. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to work that out with the Dolphins. We'll see what happens. Then we go back to the West, but this time we're going to play in Seattle first. That's 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. And then we go up north to the Canadian border to play Vancouver. Then we head back east to play against the Oilers, which is an incredibly tough matchup. I don't care if we're on a road. It's a tough game to play. And then we go to Calgary to face Huberdeau and the Flames again. They definitely dominated us in Calgary, so I'm not sure about that one. Then we go back home against the St. Louis Blues. That should be a winnable game. I don't know how we lost that one. And then the Stanley Cup rematch before Christmas Eve. It's the Vegas Golden Knights. That's going to be on national television. I'm willing to bet. We got some score to sell against the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm looking for blood. I'm looking for revenge against this team. And then, as things could get any nastier, it's the Tampa Bay Lightning next. Ooh, and it's going to be in Tampa. And this is after Christmas. Then we go back home against the Rangers, and then we end 2023 year with the Canadians. Then we go back out to the West to start 2024. So Happy New Year. Well, not yet. Then we play against the Arizona Coyotes. So that should be a win. I don't know how we lost that one. And then we go up to Vegas with another Stanley Cup rematch. That's probably an L. I don't know, because we cannot seem to win against Vegas in Vegas. It's just Las Vegas is just so difficult to play in, and then it makes matters worse. They have the bracket rights, so they're going to be incredible against the Florida Panthers on January 4th. And then we play against Colorado Avalanche. That's a 3 o'clock game, so we don't need to stay. We don't need to stay up for that long. At least I think it's a 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock game. I think it's a 3 o'clock game. I don't know. I'm in the West Coast. Anyway, we go back east to play the Blues, and then we go back home against the Kings. Then I don't know how, and the Kings owns us, so hopefully we finally break the curse. And that's another team we can't play on the road against in Los Angeles, but this time it's at home, so maybe we'll see. And then we play against New Jersey at home, and then Anaheim comes in town, Detroit comes in town, and then Minnesota comes in town before going up to Nashville to play the Predators. Then we go back home right away to play the Coyotes, and then go back on the road against Pittsburgh, Long Island, which is the Islanders, Philadelphia, and then I think at that time, then we go to the All-Star break, and this time I'm not intending an All-Star break like I did last season. That was awesome. Anyway, post All-Star break, we play against Philadelphia, then Washington, Colorado next. That's a big matchup as well. Thank you. And then speaking of Pittsburgh and Panthers, that game that's that third game against them is going to be on national television. It's on TNT, so that's watch out for that game. As I think some matches are going to be flexed out for Florida Panthers' benefit as if they do well this season. Then we go to Buffalo. We should have Buffalo. Then we go back to Tampa. That's a 5 o'clock game on a Saturday, and then Ottawa. Oh, I always look forward for Ottawa matchups. Then the Carolina Hurricanes, then against Washington, and ESPN Plus Hockey Nights on February 27th, Buffalo Sabres. And then February 29th, because it's a leap year, it's against the Montreal Canadiens. Now we go to the month of March. We start in Detroit. Then we go to Madison Square Garden against the Rangers. Then we go across the river to play Newark, in Newark, New Jersey, Devils. Then we go back home against Philadelphia, and then against Calgary Flames. Then we go to Dallas to play the Dallas Stars. Then we go east against Carolina. Then 2 times in a row, ESPN Plus Hockey Nights against the Tampa Bay Lightning and Nashville Predators. 2 games in a row on ESPN Plus Hockey Night. So Tampa. It's a 3 o'clock Pacific time. I keep forgetting I'm in California. So 6 o'clock Eastern time, and then the Florida Panthers will go on a break, and then they go back and they play against Nashville. So, and then both times are going to be on ESPN Plus Hockey Night, and this is also on national television, ABC against the New York Rangers. So, if you ask me, that's probably going to be expensive to go to that game. Then we go down south on the I-95 towards the Turnpike to play the Philadelphia Flyers. Then go back home against the Boston Bruins. Then play the New York Islanders. Then the Detroit Red Wings. And then 8 games in April, we played the Maple Leafs, which is important. And I think from late March all the way to April, it's going to be every game where we fight for playoffs. If we didn't do like we did this past season. Then we play Montreal, then we play Ottawa, and this is all Canada. And then we go to Boston, which is also on ABC, and it's a 3:30 game. Then we go home. We go home for the rest of the season against Ottawa, ESPN Plus Hockey Night, the Columbus Blue Jackets, Buffalo Sabres, and to end things off on national television, ESPN against Toronto Maple Leafs. And that's the regular season. I think we're going to do better this season. I think we're going to surpass the regular season wins that we had last season. As I'm going to take a look real quick, as I might have forgotten it because all the hype that happened during the playoffs with the Florida Panthers. As I'm going to predict, we're going to go back to the playoffs for the 5th time in a row. Anyway, the Florida Panthers last season finished off 42-32-8, and I do apologize for the interruption. Don't know what happened. And they ended in 4th in the Atlantic Division with 92 points. My prediction, I'm going to say I'm going to say we're going to surpass 42 wins. I'm going to say I think we're going to win at least, around that time, 48. I'm going to say 48 wins. And I'm going to bet we're going to get 100 points or over. If call me silly if you want, but I'm just optimistic. Because last season they didn't start off well. Well, they did, and then they have this roller coaster 2-game win streak, and then 2-game lose streak. Basically, it's a roller coaster. It didn't get until the end of the season before they actually get things done. They got hot at the right time. So throughout the season, they were not able to get 3 games in a row, more so with 4 games in a row, and we're just barely able to make the playoffs. If they want to make the playoffs, they got to start off good and keep consistent, as well as keep staying healthy throughout the season, as they were getting banged up in the playoffs. And it's not their fault. They played their hearts out. They made it all the way to the Stanley Cup as 8th seed. So that's gonna be remembered for a long time. So then I'm gonna say we go back to the playoffs, and if they want to make this similar run to the Stanley Cup, they got to do it while healthy and stay inspired. And then we just might be able to make it back to the NHL finals. But either way, I'm going to say we're going to make it to the playoffs 5th straight year, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a fun season to watch. But anyway, there you go. That's going to do it for this video, folks. I'm going on the island. And then that's going to do it. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe for more content, because Miami TVG has your back. And when he does, hit me right there with the entertainment you deserve. It's Miami TVG. Sign off, folks. Get everybody.